How's it going? It is Andre Williams, and today we're going to be doing an analysis for the Nasdaq and as well as for the ES. There's a lot to look forward to for this coming week alongside with Trump tweets, but I want to make sure that you guys are prepared. We also had some big news that came out, and it's part of the reasons why on Memorial Day Monday we saw a lot of strength in the market. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. So the first thing I like to do, I want to take a look at the daily chart. What is the bias? So what we could see here, the market is on an uptrend and we're very close to all-time highs. So when you hear people online say we're in a bear market, this and that and the third, again, please ignore it. Look at the daily chart. It is clear as day. We are in an uptrend. So taking a look at this current candle that we have here, which is Memorial Day Monday when this video was recorded, we can see that we have a bullish candle. Again, this is based off of the news where Donald Trump said that he's going to be delaying tariffs on Europe until July the 9th. So the market reacted very well to that, and this is why we have this strong candle. Will we have this continuation when the futures market opens up later on in the evening at 6 p.m. EST? We'll have to wait and see. But the first thing that sticks out to me when I look at this daily chart, are we going to be able to break these highs from the previous week? Again, add that to your notes, something to think about. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go on a smaller time frame, and we want to see where you can find some trade opportunities. So as we open up this 15-minute chart, I like to trade off of key levels. So I got my spaceman indicator here, and it's going to give us the overall stats that we have so far for the NAS. So we have the previous week low. So this is when Trump came out and said that he was going to put a 50% tariff on Europe. What is that level? So we came down to previous week low at 20,728. We have the market where it opened up last night on Sunday at 20,978 and 3/4 or 0.75. We also saw that the Nasdaq was able to finish above the previous day high, and we were able to get a close above the yearly open, so the open for this year. So the next level that we want to be watching is right here at 21,320. If we can get above 21,320, I want to see some further upside. We break above 340, and this is where we can get near those previous week high at 21,500. This is a very, very important level. As you can see here, we've made attempts to get there. So you can see when we got there the last time was on May the 21st. And then also you can see that we got up here again on May the 19th. So this 21,500 area is going to be a very difficult area. That's where we know all the big sellers are. So please add that to your notes if we have some continuation and break above the 21,300 level. Now let's take a look at what were the highs and the lows for Memorial Day Monday. So when we take a look, we could see right away, you can see on the left side of the screen so everyone can see it, we have the low that was at 20,955.25. We already know where the market opened up at 978. And then we have the high that we had at 21,307.75. Like I said, that 21,300 level is very important. Are we going to be able to break it tomorrow? Will we be able to break it later on in the week? We will have to find out. If the market does decide to have a pullback, an area where I could see buyers wanting to step in, let me go to the 1 hour chart real quick and show you something. I could see buyers wanting to come in at the 21,115 area. And why I'm looking at this area is because you could see here back on May the 19th, we had buyers that stepped in and pushed it all the way up to 21,005. So if you're looking for a dip buy, this is definitely an area that I'll be watching very closely. If we end up giving this area up, then we could easily start coming closer to the daily open and start trading near that 21,000 level. If we have even more news that starts coming in and it's not so great, then we have to keep in mind of that previous week low that we had, that we posted up on the Friday since it was recent, at the 21,729. So let's see what the Nasdaq provides for this week, but I'm looking for a move higher. Let's move on to the ES. Taking a look at the daily chart of the ES, you can see we're on an uptrend, and of course it's going to be as similar as the Nasdaq. So let's go down to the 15-minute chart. Take a look at some key levels. So analyzing this ES chart on the 15-minute, we have the previous week low, which we put in on Friday at 5,756. And then after, when we take a look at where the market opened up on Sunday, we ended up opening up at 5,820. Of course, we had strength just like how we had on the Nasdaq. And then we got to this area where, we just started grinding away during the Globex session. But one thing that we did notice on this Memorial Day, the ES found support right off the previous day high. So whenever we find and see a market finding support off the previous day high, that indicates that there is some strength. So that's why, just like on the Nasdaq, I'm very curious to see if we could hold these levels going into the New York Open. But aside from that, we could see that the sellers on the ES, they are hanging out just under that 5,900 level. As far as for the high that we had overall for the day, we had the high coming in at 5,895.50. So one thing that we have to do, we have to break through this brick wall on the ES. As far as for the low, because I didn't get a chance to actually go over that, just so you can add it to your notes, it is at 5,813.50. So if we can get that break above the 5,900 level on the ES, very similar to the Nasdaq, we could have some nice continuation. Can we get a move back up to the yearly open? So we had this yearly open that's set up at 5,947. So 5,950 is an area you're going to want to watch very closely on the ES. Is it possible we can get this move this week? Most definitely. We are not that far away. And when I look at this chart, just like how we looked at on the daily, I could see a bullish move occurring. So let's see if we get that move this week. So just like on the Nasdaq, what is a pullback level? What is a level where, we could see some buyers wanting to step in and wanting to actually get in at a more discounted price? I'm just going to say it like that. So we could see here, when we take a look at this 1 hour chart, we could see where were the buyers stepping up? Where was the last time we had a big move? So we could see here on May the 15th, we had buyers step in at 5,868. But again, that is not far from the previous day high of 5,872. So there's no surprises there why we bounced. But if we want to go down just a bit further to kind of shake things up, then I love this area right here at 5,850 on the ES. We pull back to this level. I can clearly see bulls wanting to buy here and then try to push it back up, getting above the high that we had on the Friday and then seeing that continuation move. If we end up giving this level up, then we can come back down to the daily open. And if we break above where we opened up on the Sunday night, then we can start going back down to the previous month high. And if we take out the previous week low, of course, that is going to be bearish. And you also can see that we have this gap down here as well. So this is something you're going to want to watch very closely. But as far as how I'm looking at it, after doing the top-down analysis, I'm definitely looking for bulls to really show up for this week. As we go through this economic calendar for this week, we can see Tuesday, May the 27th, we have Fed Kashkari that's going to be speaking at 4 a.m. And we have durable goods that's going to be coming out at 8:30 a.m. EST, pretty much the pre-market, an hour before the New York session. Should bring some volatility. I'm not usually in any trades in these particular type of situations. Red folder news. And we also have consumer confidence that's going to be coming out at 10 a.m., which could shake up the market as well. And we have Fed Williams that's going to be speaking at 8 p.m. So if you're going to be trading the Globex session, something that you want to pay attention to. For Wednesday, we have Fed Kashkari coming in at 4 a.m. Looks like, is he doing a double shift or something? Hey, we'll see what he has to say. Does have a reputation of being hawkish, but who knows when it comes to these Fed speakers. And then we have the FOMC minutes that's going to be coming out at 2 p.m. EST, which should bring some volatility in the markets as well. Do we have any other Fed speakers besides Kashkari? No, we don't. Now let's take a look at Thursday. So Thursday we have GDP that's going to be coming out at 8:30 a.m. EST. So that's definitely going to be bringing in some volatility. We have Fed Barkin also has a reputation of being hawkish. So maybe we might see some increased volatility with that GDP number that's going to be coming out. I'm not going to be any trades. If you are, then good luck. And then we have the initial jobless claims that are going to be coming out as well. Do we have any more Fed speakers for the day? Let's take a look. Yes, we do. At 2 p.m., we have Fed Kugler that's going to be speaking. At 4 p.m., we have Fed Daily that's going to be speaking. And then at 8 p.m., Fed Loken that's going to be speaking. Did I say Logan? Logan. If you're going to be trading the Globex, something you want to pay attention to. As far as for Friday, that's when we have the core PCE. That's going to move these markets. So if you are going to be in a trade, that is red folder news. Personal income, personal spending. You want to keep a close eye on that. And then at 10 a.m., that's where we have the Michigan consumer sentiment. This has a tendency to shake up the markets, so something you want to make sure that you keep an eye on if you're going to be trading around these times near the open. Now, we also have Fed Bostic that's going to be speaking on 12:20 p.m. He has a reputation of being dovish, bringing out some positive news. But like I said, we never know what was going to happen with these Fed speakers. And we also have Fed Goldsby that's going to be speaking at 7:30. Not going to be affecting us whatsoever. Now let's take a look at the earnings calendar. So watching this earnings calendar, thank you Earnings Whisper for putting this out. What is the most important one that stands out to me? It has to be NVIDIA. Whatever NVIDIA earnings are, it is going to move the markets. So this is why, if you guys are going to remember anything out of this week in regards to earning, please know that NVIDIA is going to be releasing earnings on Wednesday after the close. So if you are going to be trading this, be very, very careful, but I'm going to be looking forward to seeing a significant move that's going to occur, and it should carry over into Globex as well as for the whole day of Thursday. But we're going to have to find out and see what it looks like, but it will move the markets. We have other firms as far as Salesforce. That could have an impact on the market as well, seeing how well they're doing. And we also have C3AI. We know this market is definitely bullish on AI. There's a lot of attention that comes around it. So yeah, that's all I'm pretty much really focused on. I do trade the Nasdaq mostly. All of the other big tech companies have already released earnings. NVIDIA hasn't done this yet, so we're definitely going to be waiting for that. The next day, we do have Best Buy and Foot Locker that are going to be coming out with earnings before the open. And, we'll see how that turns out. Costco could be something to look forward to. And we also have another chip semiconductor company by Marvel that's going to be releasing earnings. So could that have an effect on the market? It could, but I feel like the market will be showing its hand going into Thursday after those NVIDIA earnings come out from the night before. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be talking to you guys soon.